Happy New Year to you all. It's 12 minutes past midnight, which means we're 12 minutes into the new year and 12 minutes into the 1990s. Well, it might be true for you in Britain, but for us here in Atlanta, it's only 12 minutes past 7, and we're still almost 5 hours away from the new year. You're in the 90s, but we're still enjoying the 80s. But no matter which decade you're in, it's still time for American football. Good evening. The first two games of the playoffs got underway today when the AFC and NFC wildcard games were played. We'll have highlights of the Oilers-Steelers game a little later on. But first we're going to Philadelphia and the Eagles match against the Los Angeles Rams. Before today's game, Buddy Ryan was talking about a rematch against the 49ers in the next round of the playoffs, and many believed he had prematurely looked past the Rams and their potent offense. For years, Rams head coach John Robinson was known for his running attack. But with the emergence of quarterback Jim Everett, along with the catching abilities of Ellard and Anderson, he has adapted. And with his staple running attack led by Greg Bell, the Rams today have one of the best balanced offenses in the league. To counter the Rams, the Eagles have one of the most feared front four in football. They're led by Reggie White, their all-pro defensive end, who many teams have attempted to nullify, only to find that given room, Jerome Brown, Mike Pitts, and Clyde Simmons are just as devastating. It's these four men, along with Randall Cunningham, that give Buddy Ryan his air of confidence as he enters today's game. Personally, I think Buddy may have taken the Rams too lightly, as with victories over the Giants and 49ers, they've clearly demonstrated they can beat the best. So to see who prevails today, let's now go to Veterans Stadium. Our match commentators are John Madden and Pat Summerall.
And Roger Ruzick will do the honors. Ron Brown and Robert Del Pino back deep for the Rams. A fine mist falling at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. But as we said a moment ago, not much wind, and that's the good news. The line drive kickoff bounces in front of Del Pino, and he just has to fall on it. Wisely did not try to pick it up. The Ram quarterback, third in the NFL. What an outstanding year Jim Everett had in '89. In front of him, three guys out of that group going to the Pro Bowl. Newberry, Smith, and Slater. Duval Love is the right guard, Pankey the left tackle. The backs, Greg Bell, Buford McGee at fullback, Willie Anderson and Henry Ellard wide. When they go four, it'll be Cox as one of them and Brown the other. Ellard is the man in motion. And Everett goes right to work. Outside to Greg Bell. First down Rams, Moore. Bell out to the 40. Cut down by Andre Waters. The Philadelphia defensive line, White, Pitts, Brown, and Simmons. Names becoming more and more familiar. The linebackers, Joyner, Evans in the middle, having a good year, and Al Harris. Jenkins and Everett start at cornerback. Hopkins and Waters, the hard-hitting safeties. When they go six, it's Lilly and Frizzell. First and 10 Rams at their own 40. Bell and McGee. Behind Everett, who looks like he's changing the play. Gives to Bell. It's smothered by White. 2-yard pickup for Greg Bell.
You know, Pat, it was interesting that first pass play out there to Greg Bell. Jim Everett told us yesterday that the Eagles use a lot of zone, and we want to hit the flats. Now, the flats are the sideline areas between the numbers on the field and the sideline.
Everett said in that same discussion, I'm going to have to be willing to take some sacks. And I'm going to have to be alert enough to get it into the flat. Quickly, he goes there again. That's Del Pino. Taken out of bounds by Eric Everett.
Yeah, there's a guy that is very effective, Del Pino. He's not a starter for the Rams, and he's a fullback who they put in sometimes to run, but mostly as a pass receiver. In fact, Jim Everett told us last night, he said, a key to this game is that when you see Del Pino in, he said, I'm probably going to throw to him.
1st and 10, they got 15 yards on that pass completion from Everett to Del Pino. Anderson on the right, Ellard on the left. Bell. And Greg Bell gets inside the Eagle 40. Stopped by Byron Evans, a gain of just 3.
I think
Looks like it might be more.
I think it's a heck of a start for the Rams here, Pat, because, you know, we talked about that front four of the Eagles and this offensive line of the Rams and how they have to control it. And when your quarterback can throw a couple and not even get touched, and you get a couple runs that can make a few yards, you haven't won the battle all day, but you've won the first round of the battle.
2nd and 7. Still Buford McGee and Greg Bell behind Everett. Ramon Johnson, the tight end. Here is Everett, lets to throw it. Pass is caught by Ellard. Ram touchdown. He out-jumped Isaiah Jenkins. 39-yard touchdown pass. Quieted the stadium considerably.
That was the thing Jim Everett was saying, and John Robinson, that this is the type of thing. We're going to have some bad plays. We may have a whole lot of bad plays, but the way they play defense, we're going to get some big plays. Watch Henry Ellard. He's going against Isaiah Jenkins here. Now, Jenkins goes in front of him. See, he takes that bite and goes for the ball in front of him. He misjudges it. And then when Ellard catches it, now he's behind Jenkins.
Extra point is good by McFadden. And the Rams take a quick 7-0 lead in this wild card contest. A touchdown again.
Again, this is what it starts with. Good pass protection, and these types of things can happen.
And the Rams lead 7-0 early in the first quarter. That barefoot of Mike Lansford has got to be cold.
You know, there's something stupid about that. When you wear no shoe in your foot and gloves in your hands, something's wrong with that.
Well, you got to remember he's a kicker.
Yeah, that's probably part of it.
Anthony Edwards on the return. Gets to about the 28. Randall Cunningham directs the Eagle offense. That was in the fog game last year against the Bears. 27 out of 54 for him. And that's his offensive line. Alexander starting at left tackle. Shad Remington at center. Ron Solt and Ron Heller on the right side, and Keith Jackson, the tight end. Byers will start with Tony. Carter and Ron Johnson are wide. Greg Garrity is available. Heath Sherman is starting in place of Byers. They introduced Byers, but Sherman gets the call. Tony. Sherman to the right side. Pickup of 2. The Ram defense, and there's going to be a lot of changes, but they'll begin it like this. Miller, Wright, and Peel up front. He'll go as long as he can. Green, Kelm, Strickland, and Wiltshire, the linebackers. In the secondary, Gray, Irvin, Newsom, and Stewart. And then Henley and Jackson come in when they go to 6 defensive backs. 2nd and 8. Eagles at their own 31. That's Tony. And the Rams swarm on him. 2-yard pickup. Defense led by Wiltshire.
Pat, did you see Randall Cunningham come up there? Now what he's doing is he's audibleizing on the line of scrimmage. You can see him moving his head there. In the huddle, he calls check with me. Then he goes up and he checks the defense and calls the run at the line of scrimmage. That was the run they wanted against the base defense of the Rams. Looks like they should have wanted something else.
3rd and 6. Byers is now in the backfield, and now he's out. Cunningham chased and Down he goes. Kevin Green tripped him up.
I think Kevin Green really tripped him up. Kevin Green was on the ground, and he just throws his leg. Watch Kevin Green. He comes from the top up there. He's coming from the outside. This is a defense where they have 4 linebackers rushing. Now they're playing 5 linebackers, 6 defensive backs. Watch Green. He goes down, and in going down, he trips Cunningham down. But that was that new dime defense.
Rick Tootin back to punt to Darrell Henley. 4th and 23. Tootin off the inside of his foot, and not much of a punt. 30 yards is all. And the Rams will take over in good shape, leading 7-0 with 10:40 left in the first quarter.
The last time these two teams met was in Week 10 last season. Randall Cunningham threw 3 touchdown passes, including this one to Keith Byers, as the Eagles won the game 30-24.
There's Marv Goo. He's the defensive lineman. He's teaching Bethune right there during the game how to rush the passer.
A lot of those guys have never done that. Everett. Ellard tripped up at about the 16 by Eric Everett. 30-yard gain. They blitzed, and Everett read it perfectly.
And any time you give a quarterback time like this and a receiver room like this, you're going to get big plays. See what Henry Ellard did? He took Eric Everett and turned him completely around. But the big key there is still the time, Pat. Everett had the time.
The Rams on the move again. 1st and 10 at the Eagles 16. Pitch back to Bell. Fumble. And the Eagles get it. But they're going to say he was down after a gain of 3.
That's the thing that can beat this Ram team. The turnovers. You know, what's going to happen when they get hit? They're going to give the Rams the ball back here, saying that he was down before the ball came out.
He was.
He's down there, and then the ball comes out.
Anderson was the man in motion. Everett threw it away. Del Pino was the nearest Ram. And as he said, when he's in the game, number 39, I'm going to look in his direction.
He said that's a key. And the other key is he thought that the area to hit the Eagle defense basically is in the flats. Although the way it's going here, he's been hitting this defense all over in this first quarter.
Ellard, the move man. Draw play to Bell. And Bell hammers down to about the 5. Near a Ram first down. A gain of 7. He's stripped up by Terry Hogue. This might need a measure.
Hey, you got a good block on that one from Jackie Slater. If you watch, Jackie Slater's a right tackle here. He's a 14-year veteran. He's going to lead. And again, it's that counter thing. Bell is going to get right in here, boom, and then get right in behind Slater. Now watch the right tackle. In fact, he's starting to lean already. Looks like he's going to pull there, Slater. And watch, Arnier gets knocked out. Right there, he gets the block. And that's the block that created the hole for Greg Bell.
And got the Rams a first down. It will be 1st and goal from just outside the 6. Bell and McGee. Handoff is to Bell inside the 5 to about the 4. A gain of 2.
When we talked to Buddy Ryan and the Eagles yesterday, he said the run won't bother us. They aren't going to run because we can choke that off anytime we want to. And, of course, the way they do that is they just go by putting the 8th man up there, putting another safety up there.
2nd and goal from the 4. Del Pino is the lone running back. Holohan in motion. Everett had to throw it away.
See what he's saying, Bobby? He's talking to Bobby Del Pino. In fact, I think he expected Del Pino to go out for a pass, and Del Pino stayed in. And he went over, and the minute he threw that incomplete, he was going, Bobby, Bobby, Bobby.
What happened, Bobby?
Bobby's going to go over to the sideline and hear about it again. He's starting to explain before he even gets to the sideline.
He and Holohan both stayed in to block. The Eagles still got some pressure. Third and goal from the 4.
And Del Pino was a guy that ever wanted to throw it to.
Anderson on the move again. Everett. He's signaling touchdown to Damone Johnson. And now they finally, well, they haven't decided yet. Doug Smith thinks it's a touchdown.
There hasn't been an official signal touchdown yet.
They're lining up for the extra point, so obviously it must be. I didn't see anybody signal touchdown except the Rams.
You're going to see the catch. It is a touchdown.
It just barely got by the umpire.
I know, and Damone Johnson caught the ball, and he was inside.
The play stands as ruled. Touchdown. We'll go to the extra point.
It just whizzes by the umpire here. He looked like a defender. Damone Johnson comes in, catches that ball, shields off Andre Waters. That was kind of like the basketball players do. You know, where they shield the guy off and get the pass?
Lansford's extra point is good. 14-0 Rams. 7:40 left first quarter.
Welcome back. The Rams had a chance to extend their lead near the end of the first quarter, but Mike Lansford's 47-yard field goal attempt wasn't even close. The Eagles' offense, though, kept self-destructing.
Cunningham looked right, threw left. Pass is picked off by Leroy Irvin. Underthrown considerably. Here's Cunningham, back to throw it. Jackson. Jackson fumbled. The Rams all around it. I don't know if they came up with it or not. Yes, they did. The Rams get Jackson's fumble.
We rejoin the action in the second quarter. The Rams are back in possession. They have a first down and 10 at their own 46-yard line.
Everett. Ellard. They're saying he was out of bounds. Eric Allen, who wasn't supposed to play that much, is the defender.
And again, to me, the secret still goes that the Ram offensive line is winning that battle on the line of scrimmage. And basically, they're giving Everett the time to do that. It was interesting, that last pass protection, Jackie Slater cut Reggie White. So we saw him butt him on a pass, then we saw him cut him on a pass. Those are the types of things you could do, butt and cut, and then let your quarterback do this.
Incomplete pass. The play is being reviewed.
They're reviewing it now. Right foot's in, left foot's out.
That shouldn't take too much study.
You have to look again when the guy catches the ball.
After review, it is ruled completed pass at the 41-yard line. It'll be a first and 10.
They must have reviewed a tape that we looked at, unless they said he had the ball. What they're saying is that he had the ball before, you see, that he catches it now, and then he has 1-2. There, okay, let me see. There he had it, and then he got the second foot in.
And Bell tries the right side, this time stopped by Byron Evans. They're inside the Eagle 40 at about the 38, a 3-yard pickup with 4 minutes, 50 seconds left to play in the first half.
Again, what that pass reception was is that he had, when he caught the ball, he had 1 foot in, and then all he needed was 1 more foot.
Second down. Ellard goes wide to the right. Anderson to the left. Here comes the Eagle blitz. They read it. And Holohan makes the juggling reception at about the 32. Wes Hopkins made the stop. Everett got rid of it in a hurry.
Remember as a kid, a guy hit you and you say, you can't hurt me, you can't hurt me. That's what Pete Holohan was doing. He got hit by about 3 guys. Boom, big collision there. He jumps up and starts clapping and says, you can't hurt me. Heck, he's still clapping. He could have got knocked goofy on that play. That was way too many claps. Just a second down pass. That's about 22 claps I counted.
3rd and 1. Bell and McGee behind Everett. Bell wide right. Reggie White stops him shy of the first down. Andre Waters with an assist. No gain.
Yeah, that's the thing. If the Eagles don't want you to run, you're not going to run because they're going to get their safety up there. Reggie White was there. He's always tough to run at. And then their strong safety, Andre Waters, comes flying up in there. Watch, your ball goes out here. Again, they want to stretch it and then cut it back. Watch number 20, Andre Waters. They missed the block there, and if you miss him, he's going to make the tackle. Watch it from this side. See penetration? Now watch number 20 come in, make the tackle right there.
And looks like the Rams are going to go for this one on 4th and 1. And now we're not so sure. Everett heads for the sideline, and that'll be a Ram timeout.
Los Angeles played Minnesota in last year's wildcard game, but the Rams never recovered from an early 14-point deficit, which included this controversial touchdown from Alan Rice.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him throw it.
It has to be a pass. I don't, like I said, this Eagle defense, if they don't want you to run, you aren't going to run against this defense. I would think John Robinson realizes that. Tried it on 3rd down. Will probably come back with some type of pass on 4th down.
In fact, Buddy Ryan said to us yesterday, if we don't want you to run, nobody can run. Gonna throw it. Well, 1st down Ram. That wasn't their choice, their original choice, but it was effective. Jerome Brown tripped up Everett.
That's a combination here. The coach is there. Well, let's run it. Let's throw it. Let's run it. Let's throw it. Let's run it. Let's throw it. Then you get in here and say, okay, throw it. And then if they all run off, they give you a big gaping hole like this. Run it. Now everyone's happy. He went back to throw it. He ran it and got a 1st down.
And Robinson happy about the situation at the moment. Again. Picked off by Isaiah Jenkins. Jenkins could go. Finally knocked out of bounds at about the 18 by Holohan. That could be the break the Eagles need.
And you know that in time they're going to get it. They led the league in turnovers. This defense in regular season had 56 turnovers. Where do you account for that? Again, he throws it out there. Jenkins picks it off right down the sideline.
He stepped out of bounds way back upfield. He didn't get nearly as far as we thought he did. A 33-yard return. The intercepted by Jenkins.
Yeah, that ball looked like it got away from Everett. That kind of wobble coming out of there. We're going to look and see, and somewhere in there he stepped on the line before he started to cut back.
Right at midfield. Right there. Just short of midfield. 1st and 10, Eagles. Pass to Byers, who is tripped up after a pickup of 9 by Stewart. We're going to get, well, he knocked out of bounds. There are 2 seconds remaining before we get the 2-minute warning. That's Ted Plum, the offensive coordinator for Philadelphia. 2nd and 1.
Ted Plum he's always been the offensive coordinator. The Eagles had a very tragic loss a couple of weeks ago when their quarterback coach, Doug Scoville, passed away. Since that time, Ted Plum has taken up part of the quarterback coaching also.
Byers in motion. Pass is knocked down as the pressure was put on by Wilshire. The pass and Cunningham were knocked down. And that is down the 2-minute warning. 14-0. The Rams scored the first 2 times they had the ball. And that's how it stands. 1:59 left to play in the first half. Timeouts remaining. The Eagles have all of theirs. The Rams have only 2.
You know, last week the Eagles were playing against Phoenix at halftime. Buddy was so upset with his defense not getting to the quarterback that he went in and picked up a chair, broke a chair, and cut his finger, yelling at the defensive line. I could see another chair-breaking ceremony at this halftime.
No flags. First down, Philadelphia. Heath Sherman, the ball carrier. And Cunningham is coming to the sideline.
Reggie White was the guy. In fact, the chair that he broke was Reggie's stool. He picked up Reggie's chair and threw it down and broke it at halftime, and in doing so, he cut his finger.
Reggie White said to Buddy Ryan, hey, forget about all that blitzing stuff we did last week. Let us rush and pass it. If we don't get it done, then you can blitz. Cunningham fired. Eagles will run their hurry-up offense. Kevin Green and Fred Strickland stop Byers. 6-yard gain. 2nd and 4. Cunningham is going to come out of there, or try to, and now he's down by Kevin Green. A loss of 10 and a timeout in Philadelphia.
You see, the thing that the Rams are trying to do is just contain Cunningham. Not rush him, not a big rush, just don't let him get outside. Kevin Green did an excellent job of that.
Really?
Cunningham, most of the time when he scrambles, he's going to scramble to his right or towards Kevin Green. The only way he can get outside of Kevin Green is if he lets his blocker hook him. And Kevin Green played that perfectly.
When the quarterback is tackled behind the line of scrimmage by the defense, it's a sack.
3rd and 15. Jackson in the slot. Cunningham, incomplete. Intended for Ron Johnson.
That last drive summed up a very disappointing first half for the Eagles. The Rams took the ball and ran out the clock to go into the locker room with a 14-0 lead. And so far, the Rams' offensive line has done a great job of neutralizing the front 4 of the Eagles, and their defense has managed to contain Cunningham. They've forced him to stay in the pocket and not allowed him to the outside where he's most dangerous. More of the same will win it in the second half for the Rams. But with only 3 first-half first downs so far in the game, the same is not true for the Eagles. For them to win, Randall must be more mobile, which will give him more time to find his receivers and to run himself. 4 times this year, they've come from behind in the fourth quarter to win. Against the Redskins, a game we saw earlier in the year, on Channel 4, they were down by 20 and went on to win 42-37. Some good news for the Eagles is the Rams have been outscored 205-72 in the second half of games this season. To see if Philadelphia can take advantage of this scoring imbalance, join me in a couple of minutes for the rest of the game. So as Coach Robinson and the Rams take the field for the start of the second half, Eagle fans have to be concerned about the inability of Randall Cunningham to move the ball against the worst pass defense in the league. We pick up the action on the Eagles' second possession.
First down, quick pass to Johnson. Up quickly is Gray. 3-yard pickup. Make it 2nd and 7.
Yeah, there's a guy who's played well for the Rams this year is Jerry Gray.
Really?
In fact, he's made the Pro Bowl, one of the good corners in this league. And the funny thing about it is on nickel, Jerry Gray plays safety. fact, they're talking about, maybe next year moving him to safety.
This is a defensive formation generally used when a pass looks certain. An extra defensive back, the nickel back, is brought into the game to help protect against the pass.
On 2nd and 7. Cunningham back. Out of the pocket. Larry Kelm made the stop, but Cunningham on his own. Ramble for an Eagle first down, a gain of 11.
That's what I think Randall Cunningham is trying to do, is take it in his own hands now. He's going to make something happen, get his offense excited, get his team excited, get these fans excited and back into the game. And this is what he does best. Move with the football. Whether you throw it or run it at the end of it, he has to move with it. And the more he moves with it, the more effective he is.
Eagles are at the Ram 39 now. Myers comes in motion, and Cunningham is going to put it up. Incomplete. For Myers, covered by Stewart.
I'm still surprised that he doesn't look more for Jackson. I would think that this Ram defense wanted to take away these two guys, Keith Byers and Jackson. And I would think that they're doing a heck of a job at taking away Keith Jackson so far.
2nd and 10, it brings up. There's Jackson.
Jackson runs those little slants, those little control type of things, and the Rams are just putting their linebackers out in that area where he can't do it.
Jackson only has one catch, and he fumbled after that one. Here's Cunningham back. Again, chased out of the pocket, chased by Kevin Green, and tripped up from behind after a gain of 4. Going to see a lot more of that.
Well, the thing is, Green gives him that speed. You see, he can rush from the outside up on top. Now he has containment. Now watch him on top. When Cunningham breaks, he can break. And he's quick enough to catch it. A lot of guys can do things, but they don't have the quickness to do it. The fans just got excited here, Pat, because Greg Garrity just came into the game. And he is a real favorite of this Eagle group.
That's the owner of the Philadelphia Eagles, Norman Brayman, looking on. 3rd down. This is the Eagles' deepest penetration into Ram territory. Up and out to Byers. And he will not get the first down. Leroy Irvin and Fred Strickland.
And this is going to be an interesting call for Buddy Ryan. What do you do here? His whole team was around him. They wanted to go for it, but he's not letting them go for it.
He'll try for the field goal. Although this guy threw a touchdown pass last week. Ruzick did.
I believe when you're down 14-0, or you're anything to nothing, you just got to get a score to start building on.
It'll be a 48-yard effort by Ruzick. Cavanaugh holding. No good. When it took off, it looked like it had plenty.
Here's the ball right here. Now watch how close. This thing is straight between the uprights and, just short. From 48 yards away, look at this. He thinks he got it.
Now he knows he doesn't. Looks like somebody shot him.
He goes into an all-pro hunker.
After the missed field goal, the Rams were unable to move the ball and were forced to punt. The score remains 14-0 with 1 minute 31 left in the 3rd quarter.
Rams started off like it was going to be a blowout. They scored the first 2 times they had the ball, and that has been it. Neither team has done very much since then. Vince Newsom with a gain of 23.
One thing about this, the Eagles have kept going with that. This is what they call a G play. The on-guard pulls and kicks out the linebacker. Heath Sherman comes in right behind his linebacker, Shad, and breaks through the hole.
43. Cunningham back to throw it. Pressure. Jackson fumble. I think the Eagles got it back. Like Ron Heller, bad thumb and all, came up with it. Now the Rams are saying they've got it.
Hey, this has been a bad day for Keith Jackson. He's caught 2 passes, only 2 passes all day, and both times he's caught the ball, he's fumbled it.
Ron Heller's got a broken thumb that has a pin in it, which they'll take out next May, he told me yesterday.
Second down.
Second down, Philadelphia.
Again, this is only the second pass Keith Jackson caught all day, and it's the second one that he fumbled today. He got up the wrong side of the bed. Maybe should have stood in bed.
On 2nd and 5, Tony is hit right at the line of scrimmage. No gain for Tony. Wilshire.
I think these fans hate the running game. You can see that they're talking to the offensive linemen down there, and again showing them the stunts and the types of things that the Eagle defense is doing. One thing about an assistant coach, you know, they draw plays all day and then, or all week, and then they draw them the day of the game.
3rd and 5. Little production out of Jackson and Byers today. Caught by Garrity. That's what he does so very well. Leroy Irvin made the tackle on Garrity.
Well, the fans love Greg Garrity. He's one of those overachiever guys, always hustling. He broke his collarbone against the San Diego Chargers and was inactive until today. He was first activated today.
That's the end of the 3rd quarter with the score. The Rams 14, the Eagles nothing.
The Eagles' last playoff game was against the Chicago Bears in the famous Fog Bowl. They lost 20-12 in a game which will be remembered more for the weather than the score.
Receivers on this Eagle team are Randall Cunningham or Keith Byers, who's his running back, who also plays tight end and slot and passing down, and then Keith Jackson. Now Byers has the bad ribs today, and they're spotting him in on passing downs, and of course Jackson has the fumbles.
2nd and 3. The Eagles at the Ram 35 now. Cunningham rolls to his left. Now stops. Fires complete, I believe, to Ron Johnson.
That is an amazing effort by Cunningham, Pat. He started to roll, he stopped, he started to run, came back, and then threw. Watch this. This is a bootleg. He has his guard out there. Now there he starts to step up and run, stops, comes back, and throws the easy one out there to Ron Johnson. That is what drives a defense crazy.
And you can see why, because you're never sure what he might do. Because he could do everything. Tony didn't hear the play, now he's got it. Cunningham back to throw. With time, the ball's batted down.
We talked about the pass protection of the Ram offensive line. That was great pass protection by the Eagle offensive line. In fact, it was darn near too good because the Ram defense didn't get off the line of scrimmage. And in doing so, it was tougher for Cunningham to throw over it. There was Fred Strickland right in the middle of the picture. He just got his left hand up, knocked that ball down.
They wanted Strickland to go against Shad because they thought he was much quicker. Go against rushing the passer, obviously. Cunningham to Byers. Byers struggles in the arms of Michael Stewart. Mike Wilshire.
I'll tell you one thing for this Ram defense today, they have tackled well. Here comes this defense now, Pat. They're even going to play it down here on the 20-yard line. Look, all the big guys go out. Now, here's their huddle. All they have in there is linebackers and defensive backs. They're going to play 4 linebackers in defensive line positions. 1 linebacker, number 54, Wiltshire, in a normal, and then the 6 defensive backs.
3rd and 6. Cunningham's going to try to get around it. And he will get out of it and get an Eagle first down.
When a quarterback is unable to get the planned play off, he may opt to run with the ball himself. This is called scrambling.
This is a thing that he can do. Watch Cunningham. When he starts here, he brings the defense here, then he stops here and brings it all the way back. But watch what happens when he starts to the left. He starts there. Now look, right now, if we look at this lane back here, we see that if he can get right through there, there's no one out there. So not only does he get it up the field, but back across the field.
1st and goal from just inside the Ram 10. Cunningham. Fires at about the 5. Knocked backwards by Kevin Green. And Sean Miller.
Hey, Keith Byers is a tough guy.
Really?
You know, the fact that he has ribs, and as you know, there's nothing more painful than those rib cartilage, because there's no way to protect them, and anytime you get hit anywhere, that blow seems to go right to the rib area.
And you can't do anything without pain. Cough, sneeze, you almost can't breathe.
Get in and out of a chair.
Cunningham going to take off. He jumped through 1 tackler, picked up 4, and almost scored. Sean Miller finally brought him down.
I think he has the answers now, Pat. He has 1 black shoe, 1 white shoe, and no gloves. I think that's the answer. Because in the second half on this drive, he's starting to get things going. Here's where he's so dangerous. This is what the Rams talked about all day yesterday. Inside the 20, him going back and then running it himself.
3rd and goal from the 1. Heath Sherman with Tony now the tailback. Sherman, the fullback. Hand off to Tony. He's in. That brought the crowd at Veterans Stadium to life. Now the rain is just about stopped also. Ruzek for the extra point. 14-7. Rams lead the Eagles. We have 10:58 left to play at Veterans Stadium. Tony's touchdown.
In today's other wildcard game, the Steelers visit the Oilers. They last met just 4 weeks ago in snowy Three Rivers Stadium. Lorenzo White's touchdown leap in the last minute gave the Oilers victory.
We've just gotten word that the Rams' phones do not operate on their sideline to their coaches up in the press box. So now there's a league rule that if theirs don't work, the other team has to shut down their phones.
Hey, the first thing you have to do is get your offensive coordinator down there in the sideline. Ernie Zampese calls the plays for the Rams, and he's up here, so he can't get the word down. Right next to us is the Philadelphia Eagle booth, and you see they had to take their phones off.
My name is Bill Walsh. I'm the offensive line coach, and I'm on the sidelines during the game, and I'm in communication with the phones to two coaches upstairs. One's an assistant line coach, Danny Neal, and we hear what Ted is calling all the time. So it's like a four-way hookup. You have to be very careful that you don't talk too much, but you do a lot of listening. But basically down there, what I'm looking for are the fronts and what they're doing with their linebackers, some sort of stunts and things like that that are different than what we've seen. We're also trying to look at point of attack, backside, and Danny looks at one side, I look at the other, and see who's falling down or not. So we want to make it immediate adjustments as far as any blocking changes or personnel. That's the big thing.
Luckily for both teams, they were able to get the phones fixed. And now it will be up to the Eagles defense and their coaches to figure out a way to stop the Rams, who have the ball. It's a 1st down and 10 on their own 16-yard line. There's less than 6 minutes to go in the game.
Holohan in motion, and Everett's going to go back to throw it. Outside quickly to Buford McGee. And they didn't get much out of that. Al Harris made the stop, a gain of only a yard. Hardly worth putting it up.
You know, Jim Everett hurt his hip during the season, and he went through a spell there of about 4 weeks where he wasn't very efficient, although he kept playing. And they say it's better. I still don't think that's better. In fact, he was saying the other day that it probably won't heal until about April.
Brings up 2nd and 9.
Wonder just how great he could have been or what he would be if he didn't have that hip bothering him all year.
This is not a day that would be conducive to make you feel well. That's Bell. Outside the 20, about the 21. Pickup of 4, stopped by Clyde Simmons.
I think the Rams are trying to do is take time off the clock. But he can see here that he wants to get the ball back. But I think he wants to get the ball back right about here. He doesn't want to get it back in the other end of the field.
Right. They let that clock run just as long as they can. 30-second clock is down to only 15 seconds, so they still can take some more. Jim Everett, the Rams from their own 20. Delpino comes in motion. Everett has Buford McGee. They thought they could spring something like that, and they spring it for 16 yards and a 1st down.
Yeah, that's the play that Jim Everett was talking about, and they wait until the end of the 4th quarter to get it. And again, it's just McGee coming straight up the middle. Delpino was to the outside, and they just try and put their fullback straight up a seam in the zone and hit him there. It was funny. That was one of the plays that Everett thought would be a good one for him today, and they waited all this time to get to it.
And they get a 1st down with it. And again, the clock runs down. 1st and 10 at the 36, and Everett back to throw it again. He's going to be sacked. No, he's not. Intended for Ellard. What a dangerous throw. Isaiah Jenkins back there with Ellard.
There's a guy who's only in his 2nd year, Isaiah Jenkins, who's playing pretty well today. You know, the other corner, Eric Allen, made the Pro Bowl, but Jenkins has been doing a good job of coverage, and he came up with that big tackle last time. Look at Clyde Simmons. You see him? He goes flying for the arm of Everett, misses him. Jenkins, good coverage on the other end. Boy, those are bodies flying down there.
2nd and 10. 3:23 remains. Holohan was the motion man. The draw play to Bell. Bell off to the races. Greg Bell chased by Jenkins. Finally caught by Jenkins inside the 10. Tried to strip the ball loose, and it almost worked. A 55-yard sprint by Bell.
No one thought that the running game would be a big factor in this game, but I think the running play just won this game right here for the Rams. They needed a play. They'd gotten a pass to McGee, and then Bell makes a big run here. Good block by McGee on that one. He just picked off Hopkins enough to let Greg Bell get to the outside.
He almost knocked that ball loose.
Well, he did. He knocked it out of his right hand and into his left hand.
1st and goal at the 10. And let's see who called the timeout. The Rams. Bell just went over 100 yards. And 25 carries for 114 yards.
And that's the play that could send the Rams to the Giants.
I don't believe, John, that the Eagles during the regular season allowed any running back to get 100 yards.
Oh, and they've had very few rushing touchdowns in the season also. I mean, that's something that Buddy always felt. There's no one runs against us, and the Rams just stayed with it, and finally, probably when they needed it most, they popped the biggest one.
That picture right there would tell you the story of who's leading.
Watch how close this came to being a fumble. It's knocked out of his right hand. He pulls his right hand down, and his left hand comes across and stays with it.
And that's great concentration on Greg Bell's part.
Or good hands. That's a new definition of good hands.
To Bell, to the 6. Stopped by Reggie White. 4-yard pickup.
Buddy Ryan, you see him wearing that black armband there and the stripe on the helmet. That again is for Doug Scoville, who was a fine quarterback coach for the Philadelphia Eagles, who just passed away 3 weeks ago. And the Eagles staff and team have dedicated the rest of their season to Doug Scoville, and that was a big loss.
Keith Jackson was saying yesterday that it was really tough on Randall Cunningham, that it took him 2 or 3 weeks to get over the shock.
Yeah, because Doug Scoville was not only a quarterback coach to Randall Cunningham, but he was a father figure, and I think it hurt them all.
On second down, Bell again. He's close and in. Ram touchdown by Greg Bell.
Well, that's John Robinson, and I know what he's going to say. I know the first thing he's going to say to his team and say, we wore him down. That's what John Robinson preached from. I remember when he was with me as an assistant coach, when he was a head coach at USC, and here he says, we'll wear him down, we'll wear him down. And that one, they just popped it in there. He raised his hands, and I'll guarantee you, he said, we wore him down.
And he's done it with the running attack, which they said couldn't be done.
And hey, you talk about a guy who's done an outstanding coaching job. John Robinson with a lot of different guys.
The extra point makes it 21-7. 2 minutes and 14 seconds remaining. Bell with another big day.
So with 2 minutes remaining, the Eagles get the ball back. But on this pass to Keith Byers, he tries the lateral and it backfires. The Rams recover. They then went on to run out the clock, and Coach Robinson and his Rams win the NFC wildcard 21-7. And Buddy Ryan has a long time to think about this game.
After hibernating for 3 quarters, the Eagles' offense finally, although briefly, came to life in the 4th quarter to give the Rams a scare. But they really didn't deserve to win today because they gave up so many opportunities given to them by their defense. The Rams could have had the whole game tied up much earlier if it hadn't been for Greg Bell's fumble on the 4-yard line, but he made amends with a 7-yard touchdown run in the 4th quarter, and all that matters now is next week's trip to New York to face the Giants in the divisional playoff.
It was an outstanding win for us. We have to think now about the Giants. We're just one step further down the road. We expected to win, and we did. I thought Jim Everett played a good football game, and again, in a difficult set of circumstances. Stats in a game like this mean nothing. I think it's the will of the football teams that ultimately decide the outcome, and I think on this day ours were stronger.
Was there a time in the game when you thought that Greg Bell's fumble on the 4-yard line might prove costly?
Well, yeah, that and my interception down there when we had points on the could have had points on the board. I thought that anytime you have missed opportunities, you always question. And but I think the desire of this team just hung in there, and our defense again did such an outstanding job.
And what about the Giants?
Well, I think I'm going to take about a day to savor on this win, and sometime next week I'll have a lot of comments on them. But I have they're going to be a good football team. I know that early in the season we were up on them, but this is the playoffs. This is a different thing, and I know they'll be ready for our tactics.
It seemed you gave the offense every opportunity today. You turned the ball over and they just couldn't do anything with it.
Well, you know, on defense, we preach to ourselves to not only, you know, turn the ball over, but try to get in the end zone. I guess that's why you saw us, you know, lateraling the ball at least to get the offense as close to the goal line as possible. You know, we didn't capitalize on those turnovers, and when you don't do that, you don't win games, and we didn't do it today.
We tried it, and they stopped us. They stopped us cold. We tried the deep end route. We tried the out routes to the receivers. We tried hooking up to the backs. We tried post routes. We tried to throw deep. Hey, these guys came out to play and they beat us. And I'm giving them their credit because they deserve it. I mean, it's not like when we played Chicago in the fall. You know, we should have won the game, the referees and all that. There's no excuses this game. Those guys came out to play. We came out to play, but they executed better than we did.
So a big win right there for the Rams. Greg Bell is the first back to gain over 100 yards against the Eagles since week 2 of the regular season. And with his running and Everett's passing, the Rams will now fly to New York to continue their quest to reach Super Bowl 24. Well, they'll play the Giants next week. This game will be our match next Sunday. As for Buddy Ryan, he gets to stay home for the playoffs, and he's wishing he had taken the Rams a little more seriously. Right now it's time for a break. When we come back, we'll have the highlights of the Oilers-Steelers game. Welcome back. The other wild-card game played today was at the House of Pain, where the Houston Oilers took on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Johnny Meads, the inspirational defensive leader of the Oilers, set the stage well when he said, "I expect a battle royal. The faint of heart ought to just cover their eyes and ask somebody at the end who's left standing." And it's possible that one of the head coaches won't be, as Jerry Glanville and Chuck Knoll have a history of animosity.
And his wife has asked me if I'm going to speak to him, and I promised that when they put him in the grave, I'm going to say goodbye.
You don't like Chuck Knoll.
No, really, that was a joke. That was a joke.
Guys coming over and jumping people like that are going to get your ass kicked. Just know that. I'm serious.
On Houston's first possession of the game, Tony Zindejas missed a chance to put them ahead. His 54-yard field goal attempt was short and wide. On the Oilers' second possession, they were forced to punt, but Greg Montgomery's effort was blocked. The Steelers recovered the ball in great field position. We join our match commentators Marv Albert and Bob Trumpy on the Steelers' next play.
First down inside the 20-yard line. Run down by Steve Brown and Bubba McDowell.
That was almost the Statue of Liberty. 13 yards on the pickup. You saw Bubby Brister go back like he was going to have a quick pass. He brings it, watch him. He gets it up there so they can see it and then brings it back down. Nice trapping out in front. You see the lead blocker is helping him, John Jackson, and then he gets really hammered. But it's a first down.
He picked up 13, so that's one out of the schoolyard. Very close to the old Statue of Liberty. First down at the 18.
A lot of audibles here by Pittsburgh. Rather unusual.
And Worley in motion. Here's Hodge. Broke a tackle, getting to the 16-yard line. Merrill Hodge hit down by Al Smith and William Fuller. Hodge had a good one last week. 18 carries, 90 yards. Picked up 3 on the play off a second effort. It's a second down and 7. Jerry Glanville told us on Friday at practice that he voted for Chuck Knoll as Coach of the Year. Although, Bob, he did qualify it a bit. He said he actually voted for Knoll's staff. And he also spelled Knoll's name K-N-O-L-L, pulling out all the stops. Second down play. The fake to Worley, and Brister's pass went short as he took a hit from Fuller.
Looked like it was intended for Merrill Hodge out of the backfield, but Bubby makes a very smart play. Now you see Hodge 33 coming in motion. And Fuller has a predetermined inside move, and when Bubby turns around, he has no chance whatsoever to even look for the receiver, so he just throws it away.
Third down and 8 at the 16. Now Mark Stott, Dwight Stone come on as the extra receivers. Stott in motion. Brister with time and has Stott right at the marker. Steve Brown, the left corner, with the tackle. It is short of a first down.
Well, this is almost a pick. This is almost a pick. They come back in motion. Watch these two guys when they get down.